Hey guys, I'm RyanMillsap. I'm running for Congress out here on the 10th. I'm not a career politician. I'm running against a young man who is a career politician. But I'm running because I'm, like you guys, tired of complaining and then not actually seeing things get done. And the story that got me into this race is that I've been in a 5-year war with ANTIFA. Now, I don't know if you know who ANTIFA is, but they're bad, bad people. They hate America. And what I learned about them is I owned a 40-acre piece of property on the south side of town. And they decided that they didn't like a project that was going on next door called Cop City. About 300 acres owned by the city of Atlanta. Now, the city of Atlanta was fortunate enough to have their own police force. And so they sent their police force out to protect their 300-acre perimeter. My property was next door. I was at the mercy of DeKalb County sheriffs. Well, DeKalb County is run by all Democrats. And so this experience gave me a little glimpse into what the world looks like if it's run by all Democrats. And it's really, really bad. Bleak. In fact, it's downright anti-American. Because what happened is, when I called the sheriffs and told them that these Antifas had occupied my land, I said, you gotta get them off, they're trespassing. They showed up, I went with them. I went with the cops to my land, stood there and watched as the Antifas came out of the forest with full beer bottles and rocks, started throwing them at us, throwing them at the cars, throwing them at the cops. I thought to myself, oh, this is gonna get good. Cops are gonna ruin these people right now. But no, the cops backed up. I said, what are you guys doing? They said, well, we can't engage with them, they're violent. I said, violent? You guys are the law enforcement. But they had to back up. Next day I went and met with the CEO of DeKalb County, Michael Thurman, and I said, Michael, you've got to get these trespassers off my land. They burned my equipment, they're vandalizing everything, they will not leave, they think this is their home. He said to me, I'm not going to remove them. I said, why not? He said, these are violent people, I'm not going to escalate the problem and have blood on my hands. I said, I don't think that's your choice. You are the law enforcement. Unless you're going to give me a special dispensation to go get a couple of my buddies and clear this land myself, which I gladly do. And we could clear it in about 15 minutes. Now, there might be some problems, but they're on my land. I said, unless you're going to give me that special dispensation, you don't have a choice. You've got to do this. He said, I'm not going to do it. Antifa occupied my land for 18 months. 18 months. Okay? You know who finally got him off my land? Burt Jones, Governor Kemp. They finally sent in the state troopers. But listen to this. They send in the state troopers. They clear my land of Antifas. They arrest 60 people for domestic terrorism. Not one has been prosecuted, by the way, because they're in Fulton County, all run by Democrats. Not one. So they arrest these 60 people, take away. My land is cleared for the first time. I can go on my own land for the first time in 18 months. I send my construction crews, I say, tear down every one of their forts, every one of their tree houses, every one of their trails. Anything that looks like makeshift civilization, you destroy it. Make it uninhabitable. They do. 3 days later, I get $100,000 in fines for DeKalb County for tree removal without a permit. That's what the world looks like if it's run by Democrats. Okay? Now, that is 25 minutes from here. 25 minutes from the 10th district. Now, if we're not careful, the 10th district will look like DeKalb County. And if we're not real careful, what Greg said, the whole United States will look like DeKalb County. Now, that is not a constitutional republic. That is not a government that honors your individual liberty above everything else. Because our founding fathers wanted all of us to have a veto vote over the mob. Didn't matter if 99 people showed up and said, we don't want guns in this town. Say, sorry, we got a constitution. I'm one guy, you're 99, I get my guns. That's what our forefathers wanted. You might not like what I have to say. Every in the room might not like what I have to say. But in America, my right to free speech is protected by a constitution. The Democrats don't like the Constitution. The Democrats will destroy the Constitution. These Antifas not only occupied my land, they came to my house. They threaten my life. They bullied me online. They bullied my wife online. They have the ANTIFA network stretches from the foot soldiers on the ground all the way up into the highest levels of government. They're inside the court system. They're inside the middle levels of government. We have a communist infiltration in this country that is frightening. Now we have to destroy it. This is not business as usual. If you have been complaining at your house to your spouse or your friends or your loved ones and you say, I can't believe what's going on in this country, what are we going to do? This is what you do. You elect guys like me. You know what you don't do? You elect guys that are career politicians that are already part of the inner workings of the cabal. Okay? Because here's what's really fascinating. I've been a supporter of the GOP and all these politicians for years and years. I've been attacked by the left mercilessly. They hired journalists to write hit pieces about me, calling me a racist, calling me an anti-Semite, trying to destroy my life. Just what they did to Trump. They try to destroy his reputation. They try to destroy his business. If they have to, they'll take your life. And they will do it. But what doesn't solve the problem is electing people that are already on the inside. Because while I've been attacked by the left, the moment I announced I was running for Congress, I started to get attacked by the right. Now that was disgusting. Okay? You watch what my young competitor is doing. All he wants to do is try to smear my name. And I'm saying, what are you talking? I'm here to try to help America. And you want to try to take me out just because you want a job? That is not the kind of politicians we need in America. We need politicians who understand this is not a job. This is not a career. This is a defensive position. If you want to go on offense, you want to go have a career, you want to make money, America is a beautiful, free, wonderful place to make money. Government is not where you should get rich. Government is not your career move. Okay? We need to go occupy these seats so that the people who are not fit to sit in these seats aren't sitting there. We got to take that power back. Not because we need to do so many things. Government shouldn't be doing so many things. Government should be doing less. Right? Government should be doing less. But the way we can get government to do less is put guys like me in those seats where sitting there is a defensive position against the people that want to make that into a career. We have senators and congressmen in this country who have been serving for 20, 30, 40 years in these seats. That is unacceptable. We need term limits. We need term limits, and we need guys who are old enough, experienced enough, have lived enough life to bring real life experience to the decision making. Now, how do we do this? Right? How do we destroy the left in America?
Take 2 questions, sir.
Right now? Am I out of time?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, I'm out of time? Holy moly. It's so fast. Okay. All right, 2 questions. How about one of them be, how do you destroy the left? All right, I'm going to ask myself the question. How do you destroy the left in America? Here's how you do it. These guys don't know how to make money. They are living off the flywheel of fraud. Now that flywheel of fraud starts with illegal immigration. They bring in the illegals, they sit them down in Democratic-run cities, they get too many allocation of votes in Congress, they go to Congress, they vote themselves all sorts of welfare benefits, they abuse those welfare benefits in fraud at the healthcare level, child care level, senior care level. They vote themselves food stamp, everything you can imagine that's welfare, and they abuse it. Probably 80% of all the welfare that in America is being abused. You cut that off, you cut off all their funding, right? What Trump did with the USAID destruction was massive, but we need to do that 10 more times. We need to hunt down every dollar that they're stealing in this country and cut it off, because I don't believe they know how to make money. They can't compete with all of us. We're hardworking Americans. They don't know how to work. They don't know how to build companies. Great. Well, you get no influence then. That's what we need to do. One more question? One more question.
We don't have time for questions.
Sorry, we can talk after. Question?
If you go to Congress, what's your position on the Save America Act?
Oh Oh my God, I love the Save America. The question was, what's my position on Save America Act? Listen, we need voter ID in this country. This is not hard. We need one citizen, one vote, auditable. Easiest thing in the whole world. I don't know why this is a difficult thing. I don't know why our Republican politicians in Washington aren't going to the mat on this. And I know why. Because they're a cabal too. I'm experiencing it. Thank you.